Hello everyone, I'm the EFC and this is bluelionstv, and today I'm bringing you guys a transfer daily video. Now, I've got a few stories to cover, a recent story that's just broken, and that's in regards to Alexis Sanchez. Now, reports are coming out all over social media and throughout the press stating that Chelsea are interested in Alexis Sanchez and they are starting talks and discussions with Arsenal. Now, what's the lowdown on Alexis Sanchez so far? Number one, he is available this January because Arsenal don't want to lose him out on a free. They want that money that they can generate from Alexis Sanchez to try and pursue Aubameyang this January, as it looks like Aubameyang and the Dortmund board have finally fallen out, and it looks like he's going to be available in the transfer market. Now, the price that Sanchez is available for this January is £35 million, which is a crazy amount of money because in a few months he's going to be free. Now, reports are coming out now that Man City are out of negotiations for Alexis Sanchez, and they feel kind of hard done by because originally they were willing to pay £60 million for Alexis during the summer transfer window, and they agreed personal terms of £275,000 a week, but since then, Alexis and his agent want more money. Now, the reported high demands that Sanchez wants is a 15 to 20 million signing on fee. His agent wants 5 to 10 million pounds as well. They want a lucrative bonus in terms of Sanchez's image rights. And Sanchez wants anywhere between 300 to 400k. Now, Manchester United have a big part in the Sanchez deal as well. Reports are coming out that United actually agreed a deal with Arsenal in regards to Mkhitaryan moving there, as well as paying 35 million for Alexis Sanchez. When Mourinho was questioned in regards to if there were other clubs interested in Sanchez, he said that there were. Now, that's all the information surrounding Alexis Sanchez. Now, I'm going to give my opinions now because reports really haven't given any clarifications or any clear details into actually what's happening right now. Well, the first thing I'm thinking of is it's about time we try and hijack a deal. The last successful one we did was probably Willian, and I think we need another one. If that's going to be Sanchez, we have a habit of beating Manchester United to the signing of players. We've done that with Pedro and Robin for recent examples, and your Bakayokos and other players as well. So it wouldn't be a surprise if we could do it again. But then, also in my opinion, this is where logic comes into play now. Of course, Conte is a massive fan. After we played Arsenal as well, Conte did actually speak to Sanchez and obviously told him that he's a big admirer. And Conte is one of those classic managers that will actually state his admiration for players he likes and he wants his club to pursue during press conferences. Conte has actually wanted Sanchez since Sanchez was playing for Udinese, and I'm not going to lie, I've always wanted Sanchez since that was the case as well. There is good news. If we were able to bring in Sanchez, he would be available for the Champions League because he is participating in the Europa League. And I'm thinking as well too that it was reported earlier during the summer that Sanchez came out stating that in fact he would prefer to stay in London if given the choice, and he wants to play for a club that are competing for titles. But this is where the cynical part of me comes out now, because I'm thinking in regards to the money that Sanchez wants, plus the money it's going to take to actually bring him to the club for a guy that's going to be free in a few months during the next summer transfer window, I can't imagine Austerity FC spending that type of money to bring in Sanchez. Because it seems like, I don't know, I'm just hypothesizing now, I haven't heard anything in regards to this, but we do know our stadium, that, you know, the estimation prices have gone up by double. It's going to cost £1 billion to build the new Stamford Bridge Stadium, and we're not the same club now where Roman will just put his money in. We do like to live off everything that we earn and create. And sometimes this is why I'm thinking maybe this is why Chelsea aren't so adamant at spending big money on players. Because they have to take in consideration that the stadium price is rocketing, they need a new stadium for long-term financial success, and that's a key priority for the club right now. And also another thing I'm thinking of is that, well, if Sanchez did come and the club did agree to give the terms and demands that Sanchez wants, what's that going to say to the rest of the squad now? Your Eden Hazards and Courtois, even though they're very close to signing, they actually haven't signed anything just yet at this moment in time. Now, if Sanchez signs and he's earning 350k a week, what's Hazard going to think then? Is he going to be okay with being the second highest paid player at the club? No, I don't think so. And also, I can't imagine the club spending that type of money for a guy that is going to be 30 years old too during the summer as well. It seems like it's just too good to be true. Now, here's the thing, from a footballing part, Sanchez could easily play for the next 3 or 4 years. I mean, we've seen it with Ribery and Robben as clear examples that if you're a top player playing for one of the top teams, your career can last for a very long time. You know, football is very different. This old school way of thinking that once you reach 30, you're in decline. No, maybe when you're 34, 35, yeah, but to have Sanchez for 3 top years, I think that's a great deal and I would take that. Another cynical part of me is thinking as well that maybe Chelsea are just stating that they're interested in Sanchez, even though there's no care in the world to actually bring him to the club, just to use it as a positive PR stunt, to let the fans know that the club still have big ambitions, because there's no way that Chelsea aren't listening to what's happening on social media and what the fans are saying. Clubs always know what the fans are saying, and maybe it's a way of Chelsea to do that, or who knows. But in my opinion, I want Sanchez to come. You guys know that I wanted Sanchez and Sanchez to be the only 2 players I wanted us to sign during summer. So if we were able to bring in Sanchez, I'd be happy with that. But you know, let's not get too excited. Let's calm down a bit. We have to wait for more reports to come out. But just one more cynical thought. Maybe reports are coming out that we are interested in Sanchez, but then there's no bids made or anything like that. If a bid was made, then that would be reported right now. Now, I'm thinking, let's say you're Manchester United, let's say you're Jose Mourinho, let's say you're leaking out the information that Chelsea are interested because you want Manchester United to speed up the process to make sure they sign Alexis Sanchez. You're thinking, you know what, I've got games during this month which I could use Alexis Sanchez for, and I don't want him to come at the end of the January transfer window. I want him to come now. So maybe he's leaking it, and maybe this is why we're hearing reports that we are interested, because let's be honest, we're interested in a lot of players. That doesn't necessarily mean everything though. Now, the second unfortunate story is in regards to Andy Carroll. As I did state in my previous video, Chelsea are looking into bringing Andy Carroll to the club, and they're looking at a variety of target men forwards. I'm going to question, why do we care about target men forwards later on in this video, so stay tuned for that. But reports are coming out that West Ham are indeed scared that Carroll may force a move from West Ham to Chelsea. It's been stated too that Chelsea are thinking to use Michy Batshuayi as part of the deal, ease the burden on West Ham to give them Andy Carroll. And you might be thinking this is nonsense because he's linked with Sevilla, but as I've been stating in other videos, in so many previous videos, Chelsea have been doing everything they can to get rid of Michy. The only reason why Michy still is because Michy wants to stay. He doesn't want to leave to go to lesser clubs. I mean, how can you? When you're at Chelsea, how can you play for a lesser club? It's going to make you feel like a failure as a player. It's been reported as well that West Ham actually turned down that loan bid that we did make for Andy Carroll, but the club aren't giving up. As I did state in my previous video, we did want to make a short-term loan move for Andy Carroll to come. It's coming out that West Ham in fact want 35 million for Andy Carroll to leave them in January. But we know how football works, and if you've been watching my videos for long enough, you can kind of get an idea of the strategies involved in terms of how to sign a player and bring a player to your club. Now, of course, West Ham are going to say 35 million because they're trying to put off clubs from even wasting their time negotiating with them. Clubs don't like it when their own players get that unrest, especially when they know a better club wants them. And the final report coming out is in fact that West Ham would only look at letting Carroll leave on loan if the loan club, Chelsea in our case, would pay 100% of the loan wage fee, which is £90,000 for Andy Carroll. Plus, the loan transfer fee would be pretty high as well. Now, this is where I give my thoughts and opinions. The first thing I can't understand is, what is this insistence on bringing in a target man? I mean, it really does annoy me. A lot of you guys have heard my thoughts and opinions on the matter, that I feel that we kind of price ourselves up from signing much more diverse attacking players because of the poor system that we use. Now, we know that Conte is a direct football merchant. He likes playing the direct balls to the front players. I've said it so many times in my videos. A lot of you guys already know what I'm talking about. And of course, Conte has always loved having target men. When he was at Juventus, he had an abundance of target men. He had Luca Toni, he had Amori, he had La Quinta, and he had Matri, for example, plus many more. And Conte likes to have those target men because, in a way, it would give him a plan C. So far, we only have a plan A and plan B. Plan A is to continue playing our direct balls through the middle. Plan B is Azpilicueta pushing into midfield to play those crosses into Morata. And Conte wants a plan C, and that plan C is having a battering target man striker that we can pump balls to, where we can bypass the opposition team's midfield and get straight to our front guys. And my only issue is just, why are we still playing this antiquated style? Now, there's a reason why there aren't so many target men available and aren't so many top class target men available, because especially the top clubs are not using them anymore. They're kind of dying out in a way, and I just can't believe that the club would be so willing to spend the ridiculous amounts of money to bring in a guy like Andy Carroll, a guy with one of the worst injury records recently. The guy didn't really make it at Liverpool, even though he was kind of unlucky because, again, he was a target man, and Liverpool are moving away from that. I mean, Liverpool have twice bought target men in Carroll and then Benteke, and they got moved on straight after because, again, they're trying to move away from that style. But of course, a club like us now are embracing that style, and just find it so frustrating because there's a better way of playing with the ball and playing football. The argument some people might make is that, if Conte wants him, he should have him, he knows what he's doing. But again, Conte won't be here at the end of the season, and it's going to take away a lot of money that could be used to prioritise on other, better targets suited for the team. And the last story to bring to you is in regards to Richarlison from Watford. As reported by Goal.com, Chelsea have held discussions with his agent. Again, it's not the first time we've spoken about Richarlison on this channel. A lot of you guys know already that the club have been interested in him in the past, and they have been monitoring him as well, because Chelsea like to monitor a lot of the young players, because again, you want to monitor them, speak to their agents, really understand the player as well, because in a way that can benefit you for future transfer deals in the future. It's just a typical thing that clubs do. It's reported that Chelsea, Arsenal and Tottenham are interested in bringing in Richarlison, and in a way, this is just my personal thinking, this is probably why Chelsea are speaking to his agent. And his agent is Bertolucci, and he actually has a relationship with Chelsea before, because a lot of his clients have played for the club. Of course, David Luiz currently, Oscar as well, Alex and Lucas Piazon. Due to that interest from other clubs, Chelsea may feel that they may have to make a bid for him during the summer. So Chelsea are going to talk to Richarlison's agent, because if Richarlison ever did leave, they want to make sure that Chelsea are in Richarlison's priority list. What's my thoughts and opinions on this report? Well, I am going to be honest, I'm not too impressed. I think Richarlison is a type of player that needs another 2 or 3 years before he even starts looking at bigger clubs. He's nowhere near the finished article yet, and I'm not going to lie, I do get kind of disheartened when I hear us being linked with a lot of these young players, because I think if this club are so adamant on spending big money on guys that haven't necessarily lit up the Premier League, what is this reluctance on giving, let's say, a Callum Hudson-Odoi an opportunity, giving Charlie Masunda more game time, using Jeremy Boga? Are you really telling me that Richarlison's on a completely different level to those guys? Sometimes I see it like this. Let's say we sign Richarlison and he's at the club. Would he be playing for the team now? Sometimes the club can be a bit too unnecessary in terms of always wanting experience, but it's like they always downplay the type of experience that our youth players get. But when it comes to other clubs, they're so happy to just literally spend whatever money to bring them in. I think Richarlison needs a lot of game time. I think his most impressive facet to his game so far is his movement in behind and his running up front. But again, he is kind of playing closer to goal as well, but he can play out wide at times as well. But again, is he as great with his dribbling compared to other players that we possess? No, he isn't. Would he get straight into our first team if he was to come in the summer? I don't think he would either. And are Chelsea really the club to really use young players, play them week in, week out to let them develop? I don't think we are. I know I'm being really cynical tonight, but I'm kind of seeing it like this, you know. If we sign Richarlison, that's to stop him from going to Spurs or Arsenal. But I wouldn't be surprised that Richarlison's agent is obviously going to push his client to the club, because so many of his clients have played for Chelsea or are on Chelsea's books at this moment in time. But anyway, you guys, that's going to end today's Transfer Daily video. Please like, comment and subscribe. And also, if this is the third time you're watching one of my videos, I think it's about time you press the subscribe button. And also, if you have subscribed to me and you haven't pressed the bell notification button, you're really missing out. There's going to be a lot more stories coming up this January. Anyway, you guys, thank you for watching. I'm NiniFC. This is bluelionstv, signing out.